Most popular. Least popular. Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm back with another interesting video where I'm showing how Streamlit is integrated with API of movie analysis and speech to text analytics along with visualization. Okay, so I'll be just telling you about section that I'll be discussing today. I'll be giving you a demo of how I've integrated Streamlit with MovieDB API calling to get real-time data. Also included the speech to text functionality where it is taking an audio input query from the user and calling the API with the relevant details. The results will be displayed in the Plotly chart with Streamlit. Okay, the packages that I'm utilizing, major packages are Streamlit, speech recognition, Python text to speech, PyAudio. Okay, the links that you need to check are API development for the MovieDB. Okay, I'll just show you. So this is the website, the MovieDB, whose API I'm calling. So this website gives you the details of various movies, TV shows, etc. Example that I'll be showing you today, I'm trying to give you a demo where how any APIs are being called on the fly. Analyze it for other APIs also, like for Twitter or for any other thing. Okay, so to call the API, the major requirement is the API key. So if you go to this the movie database API, if you search in the Google, you will get this link of developer console of MovieDB. Once you sign up to this website, you can get API link and you can create your API page. You in the API page, you will get the API key which you can utilize in your code. Okay, another library that I am taking into consideration is one of the GitHub repositories of Ayush Kumar Shah. So he has utilized guitar chords recognition. I have utilized his sound.py file for record and play functionality. I have tweaked it as per my utilization in my project. Okay, so the front end would look something like this, where I have put on in the sidebar my logo, my market text, and some about section. Okay, the main console where I'm giving some options. Okay, and apart from these options, I'm giving the query in the form of a audio input as well. Okay, which would be converted into text format, and then that query would be triggered on the database, the movie database, using some predefined functions. It is dynamically writing a query and getting the details. Okay, so I'll give you a walkthrough of the code. So first of all, I'll just tell you the folder structures that I'm maintaining. So in this folder structure, in the configuration file and under keys.py, I'm maintaining API key, okay, which I am utilizing in my main.py file. Settings.py, I'm in main.py, I'm calling the settings.py where I'm mentioning some static folder paths and all. And major here, apart from the path, I'm also defining the input devices. So while calling that, we in the output you might see that there are many input devices for my system. So using the index 2, which is relevant to my system, it can be of index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, based on whatever. When you'll be running your code, it can be any other index as well. For now, by default it was 0, but for me it was working as 2, so I've utilized it as 2. Okay, now let's start with the main.py. The initial part, as I told, the import libraries part, where all these libraries are being utilized. Okay, so starting with the initial standard libraries: OS, datetime, JSON, path, pandas, Streamlit, SST. Okay, plotly for that visualization. Okay, then I'm utilizing speech recognition for understanding what the audio is. Okay, then src.sound is the same GitHub repository which I was explaining, that I'm utilizing src sound.py for my code to record and play and save the audio file. Okay, in the settings, I'm getting the duration, wave, output file. These are the two folder structures. Here where the file would be stored, and here the folder under which the file would be stored. Duration for now I'm taking as 5 seconds. Okay, then from the configuration.keys file, I'm importing the API key, which you will get when you will be registering in the API console of the movie database. Okay, following which I'm just giving some options where I'm telling to disable some warning messages that might occur. Okay, now first of all, I'm putting my logo, which you will see here. So in the sidebar, first is my logo with the marquee text. This is achieved by st.sidebar.image, the link of that image with use column width as false. Okay, then marquee text within markdown, you can write any marquee text as well. Okay, then in this part, I'm putting the text of movie analysis web app and one image icon of the movie database. The background color is black, so the background color black and the title movie analysis web app, I'm putting it in an HTML page with div class background color as this, with some padding, then a header whose color is white, center aligned with this title movie analysis web app, then an image of the MovieDB, which is right aligned. Okay, this I'm passing into the markdown. Fine. Then in the sidebar, I'm putting one checkbox to clear out the data. This helps me when clearing out any recordings that are saved. Okay, then I have defined various functions about the like how I'm fetching in the data from that API. Okay, so the first function is to get the overview information about the movies page wise. Okay, then the second function is about to get the detailed information about a movie based on its ID. The third function is about to generate the appended data frame of the detail, so consolidating all the detailed information. And finally, the fourth one is get data, which is the overall function which will call the upper three functions, consolidate all the data and return two data frames. One overall appended data frame, which will contain the header information and some basic information about what is the title, what is the overview of the movie, kind of that stuff. And another data frame would be about the detailed section at individual movie level, what is the budget, revenue, kind of all those things. Okay, So I'll go into each and every function one by one. Let's start with the main function first. Okay. So in the main function, you can see in the sidebar, in the header part, I have written the about section and the details of that about section. Okay. So this completes the sidebar part. Fine. Now, so if you see here, the drop down contains India, Canada, China, Norway, and all. But while calling in the API, the text that is being passed is the codes like IN, CA, CN, NO. So I wanted that these codes IN, CA should not be coming in the drop down. Instead, the actual name should be coming. But while passing it to the function, while passing it to the code, if you see source country, it should contain IN. So that's how first I had defined this as a dictionary. Okay. Then while calling this select box, I'm passing it the format function part. Okay, like this way, when you write this particular code, in the drop down you will see the values of the dictionary, and the value that is passed to the variable are the keys of that particular dictionary. Okay. Line number 139 shows that I am dividing this particular available space into three columns. Okay. The first column would be aligned to origin country. The second column would be aligned to year. The third column would be aligned to available queries. Okay. Column 1 to column 3 are the three columns. First column will define source country. Second column release year. Third column to the keyword check. Okay. Source country is a select box, as I told earlier, based on the dictionary. Okay. The second checkbox is about year, where it starts from the latest year of 2022 and then goes in the decreasing order. Okay. Then keyword check available queries right now. So I have taken for now four basic queries: most popular, least popular, most voted, least voted. Why I have taken popular and voted is because in the database, when we are fetching some information about the list of movies, popularity is one column, voted is another column. So I just, to give a demo, I have taken these two columns, and most popular or least popular, that will decide the order in which we want to see. So if the popularity is very high, so when I say most popular, so by default it would be arranged in a manner where the top rows would be having highest popularity. If I would have said least popular, then the top few movies would be the ones which will have the least popularity score. Okay, similarly for most voted and least voted as well. Okay, so for now, these are the four queries that I had to trigger. But one thing what I tried was, instead of manually selecting, I tried to inculcate speech also with Streamlit, so that instead of selecting, if I'm taking that input as a speech, and then that speech is converted into text, and that text is being taken as a query. So I just wanted to try with that, and I have implemented this here. So that is the second part here. So first is the information that I am showing: st.info, most popular anything, which you are seeing here, most popular anything. So currently I'm supporting most popular, least popular, most voted, and least voted. Only for these four combination the query would be triggered to the API. Otherwise it will say an invalid query. For example, if I tell you here, so it is recording for 5 seconds. I'm just giving you a demo. So recording completed, we can play, and you see, can you hear sorry recording for 5 seconds? I'm just giving you a demo. So if I press on click to proceed, it will say invalid query, because currently I'm supporting only the four queries which are written here. Okay, so you saw st.info here. Okay, then the next part is about the button which will say speak up your selection. This is that button which will say speak up your selection. If that button is clicked up, a spinner, st.spinner will run, which is this spinner. st.spinner will run and recording for 5 seconds. So this duration it will take from the settings.py file, and for that 5 seconds it will call this function of sound.record. It will take input and it will save it in one of the local one of the folders, and it will convert into that audio WAV format and save it. Once that recording is completed, it will say a success message of recording completed. Okay, then the next part is whatever audio that I have spoken, that wave format is saved earlier. Now I need to read that audio and convert it into a text format. So this audio would be read from this particular file path, and then in the expander I'm writing. So if you see click to play here, this is an expander window where you can actually listen to your voice as well, whatever you have spoken. You can control the volume, okay, by toggling less or more. Also you have option of download and playback speed as well. Okay, then then another is about when I'm converting this audio to text. So I'm utilizing audio text as sr.recognizer, and then I'm utilizing a Google speech recognition to convert the audio text to the normal text format, which I'm converting into lower, and then in the success message I'm printing that particular thing. So whatever I spoke, spinner and recording for 5 seconds, that is being shown here. Okay, so this is how I have implemented, where the audio input is converted into a text format, and then that text format is being analyzed. Okay, so I'll just speak up again. Okay, like if I want to give a say of, okay, another, I'll just speak most popular. So I said most popular, which was under the various options and the available query. So it took that input, and then if you see here, the first once this is there, then it would be click to proceed. So if this my length of my text, which is most popular, if the length of this particular text is more than 0, it means some input has come. Now that input, what I'm doing is I'm converting into lowercase and then stripping it, and then verifying if the particular word is within the 4 options of the query, as most popular, least popular, most voted, least voted. So other way also we can process it by segregating and all that stuff, but I had to keep it very simple just to understand how the functionality is there. So for now I have split it like this way, whether the input text contains most popular, least popular, most voted, least voted or not. Okay, based on that it is deciding on which column to run the query on and what would be the order of the sorting. Okay, so if I say most popular or least popular, the column would be popularity. Okay, and if it is talking about most voted or least voted, then it is about vote count, the column to be read. Okay, now most would decide that the sorting order would be descending, least will make the sorting order to be ascending. Okay, so this is how I've segregated, and in any other cases it will give an error of invalid query and it won't pass the next step. Okay, so earlier it was giving invalid query. Now since most popular validates the statement, click to proceed will give you a data frame. This is the initial overview data frame, where I'm getting the title, where I'm getting the overview, where I'm getting the popularity, release date, voting average and vote count. Okay, it is ordered in a descending order, which I have asked, like most popular means the highest movies based on the popularity. So we can see as per 2022, the release date of 24 March 2022, RRR, whose overview is a fictional history of two legendary revolutionaries' journey away from home before they began fighting for. And the complete information you can see, where we are getting this kind of data, and it has a highest popularity of 141 score. Okay, so followed by Me and Me, The Witch, Loom Lapeta, Brahmastra. Okay, so this is the information, this is a header level information that we are getting. Okay, then followed by visualization. So I'll go one by one. So first of all, after click to proceed, this how this information is coming up. So when we do after if that proceeds is fine, what it is doing is it is calling this function of get data, and it is passing the parameter source country and release year. Source country and release year are source country is India and release year is 2022. Okay, so what is there in this function? When we go to get data, first of all, the definition, the function is to get the overall and the detailed information about all the movies for which this condition of source country and release year matches. Okay, here I have added a cache also because it takes time to download that data, because many API calls are being triggered page wise, ID wise kind of, and then everything is summarized and brought into one data frame. It takes some time. That's why I've asked that every time the page reloads, if um, the argument that is being asked is repetitive, then do not waste time in fetching again and again. Let's keep a cache of that, and if that information is same, just bring it up quickly. That's why I've added the st.cache, and I've suppressed any warnings that would be coming here. Okay, now what it does is the first line under get data is the input parameters are source country and release here. Okay, and when you so the first line is to call this particular function source with the source country, release here, and number of pages. So by default this particular website passes page wise information. So at every call of API, only first page is only one particular page is being retrieved. So if there are like 30 pages, so 30 API calls need to be done with that particular page number. Okay, so that work is being done in this particular function get movie info, is to get so the function is function to get overview information about the movies page wise. Okay, so how the query looks is the query that is triggered to this particular database is query is equal to https api.the.movie.db.org discover movie question mark. Now first you need to pass the API key. Okay, and then these are some filters that I'm applying, like the primary release year is equal to release year, which I'm passing as 2022, then with origin country as India. Okay, then when you query this, that query is requested from the website and we get a response. That response is converted to a JSON format. Okay, once that particular JSON format is released, we get a column called total pages. Okay, that will decide whether like in a particular year there can be many movies, right? So there is one, how many pages of the result section are there, so that I'm storing in the total pages section. So if this function I'm making a use of, like if by default it will run for only first page, but if you are passing that parameter, then it will run for that many pages. So if that number of pages which I'm passing while calling the function, if I'm passing it all, then number of pages is the total number of pages for that particular query. Otherwise it will run only up to that point. Like if you want only 2 pages, then it will run for 2 pages only. So what it will do is it will go page wise. Okay, then individual query would be fetched against that particular page. Like if you see the same API call, but additional information of page is also given. So page wise information is retrieved, like page 1, page 2, page 3, and all that queries are requested, which will get a response, which will be converted into JSON, and then individual query results would be stored here. Okay, and then finally all that will go page wise, and a full data frame would be prepared apart from the total pages. Okay, this would be returned to the previous function here. So you will get total pages and query all. So this will give the header level information about all the movies, all the pages. Okay, so in that header level information, generally you will get title, overview, popularity, release date, vote average, vote count. Okay, but for a particular movie, what is the title, exact title, which languages was made in, revenue, what is the budget, that detailed level information is not present at the header level. To get to those levels, another API calls need to be done. So that's what I have done in the following part. Okay, so if you see here, if that particular data frame is not empty, it means you have received a header information, get the details of all the movies, okay, which would be done in get info, get movie info details. Okay, if you see, it will generate the appended detailed information about all the movies. Okay, what it is doing is, it is so yeah, so whenever we are getting any information about a particular movie, the key here is, you need to pass the ID of that movie. So if I want to get the information about this movie Loom Lapeta, a specific ID in the database is being maintained. You need to pass that particular ID in your API call, and then only you'll get the detailed information about that. So what I'm doing is, in the data frame I'm running ID wise, and then I'm calling this particular function get film details and passing that particular ID. What it is doing is, function to get the detailed information about a movie based on its ID. It is making an API call with that particular ID, okay, and then converting it to JSON and then returning that details back. Okay, so ID wise, that API call would be running, and then finally a detailed information data frame is created. So now we have the header also, and we have the detailed data frame. So both these would be returned back to the main function of from get data. Okay, so after proceed, we have called this get data. It will internally call all the above functions and finally prepare one overall headed information data and the detailed information data. Once these two data frames are created, we need to sort it based on the column select and the sorting order based on the query. Okay, and then yeah, then I'm writing that particular data frame which you can see here. Okay, then second following part is about the visualization the data. So this I've integrated plotly bar chart. Okay, so which you can see here. So at the first level you will see that plotly, but it's a dynamic chart. Okay, so what you can do is, you can actually click on zoom to increase the size of this particular graph. So we can see generally all the movies here. We can actually click and drag to select something. Okay, so we can see the top few movies are RRR, Mia, Witch, Lumapeta, following like this way. We can see the information of popularity index and the title of that particular movies. Okay, we can also take a snapshot of this. We can pan, zoom. We have another functionalities as well. Okay, so it's a dynamic plotly chart which I have integrated with the Streamlit part. Okay, then down we can, from the available movies, we can see if we want to get the details about a particular movie. I can just select here and I'll say click to see details. So when you see here, we get the logo, we get the poster of that particular movie, then we get the title of the movie, what is the tagline for that particular movie, what is the overview of that movie, when was the movie released, what was the budget of the movie, what is the revenue of that movie, and what is the genre of that movie, action and drama. Okay, all these details are present at a detailed level movie information, which I was calling in by passing in the ID. Okay, so that is what is being done when you are selecting a movie title. Once I'm just filtering in from that details folder based on that, and once you see click to see details, I'm just extracting that information from that particular data frame. Okay, also this poster URL, I'm getting that particular poster URL, and then I'm posting it as an image here in under st.image, which you can see here. Okay, and finally that balloons part is what, if like if you want to see for some other, then this balloon st.balloons will generate these balloons which you saw here. Okay, so this was a very simple one, but yeah, a lot of effort took to integrate everything. So yeah, one more, if we want to see an example, then we can see least voted. So we can see least voted clouds of monsoon. We get the overall header level information, we get the detailed level thing, and we can see what is the details of the clouds of monsoon. We can see rowdy sing. Okay, great. So this was a small part where I've integrated in the Streamlit audio, speech to text, visualization, API calling, and many more. If you if you would have liked this video, then press the like button and share it with your friends, and let me know in the comment section if there are any queries. Thank you.